Now we have the first presidential aspirant who has visited the Labrador community old timer page, and his name is Councillor Tiawon Gongloe. He's walking now to the old timer party ground on the south side of Indianapolis. So we see the councillor. He's walking with a high power delegation. We see Mr. Tiawon Gongloe as well. We see the former president of the Labrador Association of Indiana, Mr. Rufus Tati as well. He's part of the high power delegation. Mr. Tiawon Gongloe, the secretary, the representative to EULA, is also part of this delegation here. And I can see Mr. Weah as well. He's part of this high power delegation. I see a lot now. Yeah, I will cut up. Now we see the presidential aspirant, Republic of Liberia, Honorable Tiawon Gongloe, is now in Indianapolis. Yep. How you doing, Mr. Gongloe?
Great. I'm happy to be here.
Welcome to our city.
Thank you very much.
Yep. So those of you following us, we have the councillor now. The councillor is in our city. Councillor, let me just hang this on you small, yeah?
Go right
so
ahead.
So you can speak to our people there.
Go right ahead.
Councillor, welcome to our city.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure having you in the Labrador community today. So we see you with your broom, your signature. You always have your broom, and that symbolizes usurping corruption
from the governance system of Liberia.
All right, Councillor.
Government is a place to serve, not to steal.
Now you're here. What is your message for us here? This is the Old Timer Practice ground.
I just want to tell all the Liberians living in the state of Indiana not to forget Liberia and to be fully involved with what is happening in Liberia. They can call back home. If you call 10 persons and those 10 persons talk to other 10 persons, you will help to shape the direction of Liberia. And we want Liberia to be shifted in a proper direction. I strongly believe that a better Liberia is possible. And that is why I'm in this race. To change Liberia's story for the better. The story we have today must be a nightmare. It can change for the better. And that is my message to all Liberians living here, that we have to be involved while we are here. Many of you are sending remittances back home. You are responsible. For those who are living back home, you have strong influence on them. Tell them to take a proper political direction, because the hardship in Liberia is causing hardship here, because so many people are calling for bags of rice now. Every day your phone rings. So when things are tough home, you also feel it here.
Yeah.
So I'm calling on all Liberians to be totally involved with shaping the destination of Liberia.
Thank you so much, Councillor. So we have the first presidential aspirant to visit the Liberian community of Indiana, Councillor Tiawon Gongloe. Now, he's commonly known as the poor man lawyer. Today he has simplified himself again. Oh, now he's the broom man. As you can see the broom in his hand. This is the broom he uses to sweep corruption out of Liberia. And to those corrupt officials, get ready, start worrying, because after October, your butt gonna be kicked. I can rest assured that. Now we see the ambassador also here. Ambassador Abba Moba. I'm gonna get a word from the ambassador. Ambassador, now it is a privilege to have the councillor with us in Indiana. What do you make of that?
Oh, that's a good thing. You know, being here in the States, we don't have the opportunity to see our potential politicians or leaders. So, you know, it's a great thing that he's here. Hopefully, you know, he will explain his agenda for the country and we'll be able to ask questions as to what he plans to do for Liberia and the Liberian people.
So what do you make of his humility? The first standard bearer to reach in this corner on the south side of Indianapolis, way down this hole to talk to Liberians residing here, because this has never happened before. What do you see of that?
It says a lot about him. And, you know, I look at it as an opportunity.
Okay.
I've never had the opportunity to speak to a potential, you know, president, you know. So having him here, like I said, you know, it shows how humble he is to come and tell us why we should support him this coming election. So, you know, I look forward to asking some questions and seeing what he's up to. for
Thank
the
you so
country.
much, my dear brother Abba.
You're welcome.
Now we have the EULA representative here, in person of Mr. Jan Volule. Mr. Volule, can you turn this way? I think you're a little darker. We have the EULA representative here. I saw the EULA representative, Mr. Jan Volule, walking from up there with Councillor Tiawon Gongloe. I don't know if he have been Gongloe last, if that's a word, but now I see him walking side by side. And we know Mr. Volule is a staunch supporter of the Arizona committee, but now I see him walking side by side with Councillor Tiawon Gongloe. So probably Mr. Volule have been Gongloe last. So let's hear from Mr. Volule. Mr. Volule, let's hear from you.
Thank you. I don't know. My name is Nya Volule. We are very happy to see one of our presidential aspirants in our community, especially coming down to our soccer field on a Saturday morning is something that we have to embrace. We all have sizes that we can support, but to see a presidential aspirant coming down to this level, to our level, to come and speak to us and be among us like, one of us is great. It's a great thing, for us to embrace. We are happy that Councillor Gongloe is here to talk to the community members, to Liberians in the state of Indiana here, especially in the city of Indianapolis. It is an honor and it is a privilege to be here with him.
Thank you so much, Mr. Volule. Now we have Mr. Weah here, and Mr. Weah, he's one of those people in town here where his Tiawon Gongloe business is not a joke, and he do not play when it comes to Councillor Gongloe. And I see Mr. Weah is pretty seated on the old-timer soccer page in Indianapolis. And Mr. Weah,
yeah,
how are you today?
I'm good.
Man, Mr. Weah, I see for the first time you are here on the old-timer soccer page. So tell us more about the visit here today. I see you walking along with
it's a coincidence. Yeah, it's a coincidence. I'm here with the councillor, and he was invited to the page, so I accompanied him here. This is my very first time on this page. I have not been here before, but because of his invitation that brought him to the page, I have to accompany him here, and I'm excited to have him here.
So, Mr. Weah, we have Councillor Gongloe now in the city of Indianapolis, and it has been long anticipated. What do you look forward to as to engaging the Liberians here? What are some of the messages you expect from Councillor Gongloe today as he speaks to cross Liberians from all places?
Well, the only thing we have to say is to engage the people with the character of the person we are believing in.
Okay.
This is the real man who's going to change the course of Liberia. With the things that are going on in Liberia, all I can tell the people is this is one character you can trust in bringing a change to Liberia. Change for the better, change for everybody, not for one sector, but a change that will transform the country and the minds and the youth of this country that we so call Liberia, that we believe in. This is the only man, I believe, that can make that change.
Thank you so much, Mr. Weah. Councillor, be telling us more about Liberia and what he intends to do for us since we have him.
Yeah, but I don't want to undermine this evening's program.
No. This evening program, right?
I'm told not to speak, to undermine this evening's program.
All right,
so I want people to come there this evening.
All right, people are going to come, but for Indianapolis, the Liberians live here specifically. What are your plans for us?
It is for the everything I would say should be this evening. Then you ask me questions. We don't want to undermine the board program.
You see, that's it when you're dealing with a councillor. But anyway, councillor, let me let you know I have your microphone on, so anything you say you'll be recorded live. So as you're speaking to the guys, so don't say anything that you say tonight.
We can keep conversation. We're talking about Liberia.
Okay.
We're talking about Boajike right now. There's no era in Liberia outside Monserrato and Margibi. Well, I'm staying in Monserrato and Margibi. But I can tell you about Bogaza in Lofa. I can tell you about Honeahu, Balahu. Balahu is the home of the late Cassell. It's up the hill, and you have to go through. That's the beginning of the Manoroba Union. You have to go through what they call a monkey bridge. The bridge is shaking like this. And I went. And then I can tell you about Pakwai Town. Pakwai Town is the home of the late mother of the current president. And when I got to Pakwai Town, it's on the Cestos River. It's like from Brewerville to Carisburg on the river. I took 35 minutes to go upstream. And I was told I was the first politician to ever go in that town. Even the superintendents don't go because they are afraid of the river. And they asked me, why did you take the risk to come here? I said, there's no risk too big for me to take for Liberia.
Wow.
And I want to be president for those who live in Monrovia, those who live in Sester City, and those who live in Pakwai Town.
That's good. That's good. So anyway, you said we will talk more tonight because we want to talk about your decentralization.
Yeah, but I can talk about
issues.
But you cannot solve a problem you don't know.
Yeah.
That is why I'm going over Liberia, to know the problem. You know? So it had never happened. There's no history that anybody trying to be president, even going to 50 towns. When they go outside Monrovia, they go to the capital cities of the country. Like people will come to Banga and maybe by mistake stop to Totota, stop to Palala, which are towns on the mirror. But I'm going to Benekole.
Yeah.
I went to David Dean's town. I went to Dolos town. I went to Bunota. These are towns of the mirror. I slept in Sanoye, and people were very happy. They were telling me, you are the first presidential aspirant to ever come to our town. In Sanoye, I was in Princeton. I was in Drazon.
Okay, Councilor, the guys going to meet up there so you can speak to them shortly.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're just joining us, we are in conversation with Councilor Tiawon Gongloe, the first presidential
What time are you
aspirant.
from Liberia?
Everybody got a busy schedule, everybody got things to do, but we got a special guest here from our home country, and we hope that everyone will call him with listening ears so that we can learn from him, because he has been on this road before us, and we're far from it, so we can learn from him. He has something he got to explain to us as it relates to his intention for our country. Maybe he might sway some minds here today, like we saw the other night, and he's been traveling our country, left and birth. So we hope that giving ears, we can learn from him and make a decision for our country in the future. Thank you.
All right, so let me. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Since there's no lady here, you see, I come from a hot country. I'd rather stay in the sun. And when I stand over there, it's a little bit cold for me. So let me start from the sad talks. Someone said, I'm from Lofa, therefore I'm voting for someone, I support someone. If we do that, then we don't have Liberia. If every citizen of Liberia that comes from a country only supports a person from his country, that person can never be president. Because there's no country in Liberia that has sufficient number of persons to produce a president of Liberia. Period. Electing a person must be based on his or her track record and plans for Liberia. Period. Nothing less than that. Because nobody is responsible for where he was born. Nobody is responsible for the status of his birth. That's a decision that was made by God. But what we support people for is based on how they conduct themselves, how they relate to their fellow men, how they think about their own country. That, for me, should be the motivating factor for any decision. If you make decision because somebody is your brother, or somebody went to the same school with you, or someone was born in the same town with you, that decision, for me, is rooted in ignorance. So, I don't think it's a good statement to make for our country, because we are trying to unite and reunify our country and reconcile it, because a divided country cannot move forward.
It's true.
It was divided before, but the war fractured our country. The wounds are very deep. That is why, for example, on my trip around the country, I slept in Tucson. as a son of Nimba County. It was deliberate. And the people of Tuzon were extremely happy that as a man of man from Nimba County, I chose to sleep in Tuzon. That is beginning the process of reconciliation. And they showed their happiness by dancing the entire night until the day. And every member of my delegation ate a food left over. And they told me, anytime you're in Grand Juda, come back. I said, you don't have to say, you have already shown it by the way you welcome us. I slept in Kuwankwa's town as well, in Nimba County, in Zozuale. Because when you lose a great person from your town, the town becomes like an orphan. People don't go there again. So I went there and slept there. In Sino, I went to Pinestown. And for you young people, Pinestown was the home of the late Thomas Wessien, the first vice head of state under the military government. When he was killed, Pinestown became like an orphan. Nobody would go there because their great son had gone. I went there, they were extremely happy. I went to Glole. Glole in Nimba County is the home of the late Jackson Hebdo. I call Glole the political shrine of Nimba, just like Nimba County, just like whether you like or not, Tuzon is the political shrine of Grand Juda County. These are places where the first sons of those county came from to even run for the presidency of Liberia. Without those sons, those towns, they are like orphans and nobody cares about them. Some people despise them. Some people hate them. Some people are laughing at them. I went there to live their spirit. I went all over Liberia. And Liberia is much more underdeveloped than anyone can think who's living in Monrovia. And if you go to Sanikole, Zweju, Buchanan, Robertsport, and any of those places, and you think that you've been to Liberia, you have not even seen 10% of Liberia. Over 90% of the over 306 towns that I've been to do not have pipe-borne, don't have hand pumps. People are still drinking from the streams. Some people sit upstream and do something else, and people downstream drink it. Liberia is in a terrible condition. And Liberia is a naturally rich country, better than most countries in the world in terms of natural endowment and resources. We have a rich soil, better than even America. You eat mango and you drop the seed. After 3 weeks, you see it germinating by itself. All of the oranges, the plum trees around the towns, everything we have around the towns were not planted. People just eat things and drop them in the group by themselves. That is Liberia. Fertile soil. Then under that soil, we have more natural resources than most countries in the world. Botswana is counted among the richest countries in Africa and among the fastest growing economies in the world only because of diamond. In Liberia, we have diamond, we have gold, we have uranium, we have iron ore, we have manganese, we have bauxite. You just name them. Over 13 natural resources and 13 minerals. We just been exploiting 3: gold, diamond, and iron ore. But we are poor by choice. We are poor by choice. On election day, we elect ignorant people who don't love the country, and who have no track record of showing any love for the country, people who lack integrity, and selfish people only care for the depth of their pockets. And so we become poor. So we are poor by choice because on election day we choose poverty. That is the reason why we are poor. No one who looks at the natural resource capacity of the countries in the world will categorize Liberia as a poor country. And so people don't understand why we are poor. It is the lack of good leadership.
It's true.
Those 2 words. And it shows everywhere. I watched a video a few years ago, I think that last year or year before. Al Jazeera showed a documentary on UAE, where Dubai is located. And they asked the Prime Minister, this place used to be a desert, a barren country, only camels and donkeys were the means of transport here. How come it now has skyscrapers and is the first choice of tourists around the world? And he said one word, leadership. He said, I mean good leadership. It is leadership that transformed UAE today. And leadership changed, put Ghana on the foundation of upward development. Leadership got Botswana moving. Yes, Rwanda, Paul Kagame is now having regular elections. He has human rights problems. But in terms of the general condition of people in Rwanda, great leadership. I've been there twice. I slept at a hotel in Rwanda and I walk around. They went through war. They don't make that excuse anymore. We went through the same war. But to keep making excuses, all our leaders look for excuses. Oh, we went through war. Oh, we have military rule. Oh, we have Ebola. Oh, now we have Corona. They're looking for excuses. Stuck in excuses. And not finding a way out. I'm not bounded by those. I am an eternal optimist. I see a great Liberia that in few years could be an attraction for tourists. We have better natural condition for tourism. I'm concluding. We have natural condition for tourism. We have better beaches than Gambia. We have better beaches than the Bahamas. I know it because Liberians have come. I'm taking them. We have scenic beaches from Cape Mount to Cape Palmas. In many of the countries, you have rocky, some places rocky, some places muddy. In fact, in Gambia, I was just there 2 years ago. Some of the areas are muddy sand. But good governance make them go there. Even ecotourism, Liberia could make billions of dollars from ecotourism. We have exotic tropical forest. We have 43% of the remaining forest in West Africa, which means we have more forest than Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Guinea all combined. Some of those countries have savanna, some have desert. We have natural forest, evergreen forest from Cape Mount to Cape Palmas. We cannot be saying we are a poor country. If we say that, we are ungrateful to God. We are poor by choice. Thank you.
So, gentlemen.
All right, we just listen to inspiring. So we respect each and everyone who wants to ask a question. And the question will be one at a time.
Right. And we'll continue listening question.
Yeah.
Thank you, because you see, I'm good. Can I say a word? Can I say a word?
Yeah, hold on.
Can I say a word? I came here
Listen,
because I couldn't just pass. But I have to respect the organizers of the program tonight. They really didn't want me to say anything substantive. But I just share with you my experience. If you want to know what I would do about all the things I'm saying, come tonight.
Come to the program tonight.
All right,
Councilor, I have a very good question. First of all, we'll say,
hold on. Let respect him. He's asking.
I want to be very brief. I want to say thank you for coming to the soccer field to meet with the boys and to explain to us what you intend to do. Liberia right now is going through a very difficult times. The country maternal mortality is extremely low. Life expectancy is very, very low as well. We are all acutely aware of some of these problems. No safe drinking water, road network, nothing like that is going on right now good in Liberia. I know that from here, there's a program coming on this evening where you will in detail and adequately, eloquently articulate your plan for Liberia. We want you to be very brief. We have so many candidates in the race right now in Liberia. Why do you think that you are better than, what do you think that you are the best candidate for that country, and what do you think that everyone that is here, should be able to vote for you? And be very brief, Councillor, because there are other questions coming up.
So I agree. I've been asked that question many times, so I have an answer already. I've been asked that question many times on different media platforms. You cannot solve a problem you don't know. And critics in society are the ones that observe very well and show the other side. I have been a critic of bad governance of Liberia since in the 70s. I went to jail in 1978, criticizing government for lack of freedom of expression, all of that. I have worked in government. I have been in opposition. I work in government. I know the problem, and I am the only aspirant in Liberia who has gone to more than 50 towns. I've gone to 306 towns. The others are sitting in Liberia. It shows their ignorance on how to solve the problem.
All right, we got
Thank you
Jeremiah.
so much,
Jeremiah, ask the next
Councillor.
question. After Jeremiah, we'll get,
Well, I reserve my comments for tonight because
Thank
I
you.
want to be a full part and parcel of
So that other people can.
Everybody come and ask your question. If you don't want to ask a question, then we'll ask a question. Ask your question, make it brief, please.
Yes, you did mention, my name is John Siakoy, a panelist on Open Table, but the issue is, you did mention about ignorance. You said we select our leaders based on ignorance. So the question is, in your elaboration, did not hear you talking about the human resource capacity building of Liberia. So how can you reconcile that?
Okay, so I told you I would tell you what I would do tonight. I just want to share with you my experience around the country. But the issue of ignorance is a settled opinion. President Tubman said there were 3 great enemies of Liberia: poverty, ignorance, and disease. And then he concluded the worst of the 3 enemies is ignorance. So that one is not in dispute. It's not a debatable issue. What I would do about it, we'll discuss tonight. But let me say, one thing left out of your question is, look, power, leadership is not about convenience. It's about discomfort for the comfort of the majority. There are some people in this race now who have never criticized any president in their life except President Weah, only because they want to replace him. That, in my view, is opportunism, is selfishness, the same thing we're trying to get rid of.
Okay, we got only 2 more. You and you. 2 more. It's the same question.
I said I will answer it tonight, my plans. I want you to come tonight.
Give me a wide lesson. Give me a wide lesson right here. Let's see this man. Let's see this man.
Ask a question after you.
Who asked the question?
Councillor, Mayor Winaba.
What's the sedition?
Ask your question.
Oh no, that's yeah, Councillor, my name is Julius Van, and then my question is based on corruption, right? Having served in any government, be this so whatsoever, or as a councillor, whatsoever, right? Looking at the corruption that went on in any government, and also comparing to the one that going on presently in George Weah's government. My question to you personally, what would be your stand, assuming that you take over in October, what would be your stand on corruption on your first day?
So that is a substantive question. We'll deal with that tonight. Well, you know, listen to me. Everything I say tonight, I'm sure, let somebody ask a question, because everything I say will be videotaped, which means you can go right back and listen to it.
Yes. All right, ask a question.
Yes.
He's the last person.
All right, Councillor.
I hope you're not answering to that question too.
No, my name is Nathan Jala, and firstly, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for visiting all, and I want to know, because you serve a councillor in any government. Because I listened to you before, you said something, you resigned for some reason. But why you didn't hold Eddie accountable? Because he was a councillor at the time, at the point of time. Why you didn't hold him accountable at the time? I want to know, please.
Okay, so.
Come tonight.
So, Chief.
We should make sure we come tonight.
Okay, so.
The council came here on the expense of people. We have to respect the people that brought.
That's the last question?
So, yeah, what's the last question?
Yeah, Hello. Hello.
I will answer your question, but let me finish with the last question.
Yeah, Councilor. Yeah, my name is Maurice Goa. I want to say thank you for coming, taking your time to come to us. Respect. I will say thank you very much. My question to you is, in case we go into second round and you are not formed to be part of the second round, who you prefer to be a president for
I will
Liberia?
answer that question easily. I always say, we'll reach a bridge, we'll cross it. But let me...
He wants to address that.
Let him finish.
Councilor, real quick, what's the message with the broom? What is it you're portraying with that broom?
To save corruption from the government of Liberia.
Thank you.
When you in America, Councilor, you in America, so you still corruption.
There are Liberians here.
Thank you so much.
I want to answer the question. Wait, I want to answer your question.
So we were in conversation with Tiawon Gongloe.
Mama, you give leadership. People talking to you, then you can't listen.
We are here to learn from each other. I was Solicitor General of Liberia for 3.5 years. I prosecuted Judy Bryant. I prosecuted a lot of people from the interim government and some people who currently serve the government. All right? Then I was elevated from being a Deputy Minister, Solicitor General to Minister of Labor. And I always advised my president, my boss, about fighting corruption. There were people very close to her, friends and family members who were extremely corrupt. And so my cup got filled when we reached a point where to shield few corrupt people, she said, oh, I'm sending the cabinet minister on compulsory leave. The ones I will call back will still be my government. The ones I will not call back will not be my government. That is not the way to fight corruption. You have to be deliberate, you have to be clear, you have to call their names, you have to prosecute them. I didn't like that. I issued a 13-page statement against the president. She still called me back in the government. I said, no, I am not coming back in the government. You only prosecute people when you're in government. It is government that prosecutes people for corruption. But when I left, I criticized all. Immediately I left, I was criticizing all. I still do until now. There are people who are running today who have never criticized Ellen publicly, and they only criticize George Weah. I think it's not fair because some of the roots of the corruption today came from President Sirleaf. Legislative bribery, for example, was never in Liberia before until President Sirleaf.
Yep.
Now it's difficult to deal with it. So if you really want to be fair on that criticism, start with the root and then continue. Yeah, I don't agree with sedition. They say, but Ellen was corrupt. I say, that's what you came for change for. You say change for hope. But your change has created hopelessness and despair.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. So that was the voice of Councilor Tiawon Gongloe. So now we are about to leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.